The Fred Record Story. It's Fred Frith box set. It's part one. It's a big box set. Fred Frith is an experimental guitarist and producer and songwriter, singer that nobody knows about. He's associated with this musical movement from the 70s called rock and opposition, which, if you know anything about Marxism, you know, it's basically the idea of it is straight out of dialectical materialism, and it also comes from their underground status. They had to create their own music distribution, and so they had a bunch of the craziest musicians. I mean, they're influenced by Frank Zappa, but they outdo him by miles, if you can believe that. And they're actually more influenced by Captain Beefheart, who they also outdo by miles, even though they worship at his feet. Most of these guys think that they don't really like Frank Zappa that much, even though they sound like him a lot of times. They tend to sound more like Frank Zappa, but they tend to admire Captain Beefheart a lot more. It's all a conglomeration of modern classical music, blues, jazz, and popular music of all kinds. Modern classical music includes everything from Varesi's experimental orchestral compositions to music concrete, which is basically just a bunch of audio tape clipped together with random sounds that they tried to make into something. And electronic music, synthesizer music. You got the West Coast music, electronic music, and the East Coast electronic music, and these rock and opposition groups used all of that. And also they were influenced by krautrock and a French band called Magma, they say. Anyways, this is a huge. How many CDs is? I think there's probably two in this. Keep the Dog, which I think it has something to do with Fred Frith's divorce. I don't know. The Gravity is a great progressive rock, folk-influenced progressive rock album from 1979, and Guitar Solos is modern classical, except just to pick up a guitar and make weird noises. Everything. I believe Eugene Chadbourne is on here, and Fred Frith, and a lot of the very John Cage influenced, very sort of. It doesn't sound like music. And then what is this? Cheap at Half the Price. Great pop album by Fred Frith. These covers. I've got the actual albums. I should be redoing this with the excellent. And this, I haven't listened to this. This is some kind of a soundtrack he did. And here's some kind of experimental project that was live music. So it's 100 musicians, mobile audience. And this is a dropra, as in opera, except something different, and you can't really do justice to this painting on the cover. This is something I haven't seen before, but Ferdinand Richard was the bassist for Etron Fou Les Lambins, which is I think the most interesting rock and opposition band that Fred Frith produced at least one of their albums, maybe two, and contributed to it, and was influenced by him. They were his backup band for another album, a great album that's not in this set, called Speechless, which is half, I guess. So we've got Gravity here somewhere. Yeah, Gravity. It's got a little bit of the original cover in the center, but it doesn't look like it at all. But Gravity was half of the album was a band called The Muffins was his backup band, and the other half of the album was a rock and opposition group from Sweden called Von Zamla, or also known as Mamas, Manas, Manas, something that makes absolutely no sense. But they're the most technically accomplished of the rock and opposition bands, and they achieved a lot of success in Sweden as a jazz fusion, very, very technically proficient jazz fusion band that was, you almost couldn't tell it was jazz fusion because it was so influenced by Swedish folk music. But, anyways, a lot of obscure stuff in a box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Probably 2 in this one. I don't really know. I'm not familiar with the Keep the Dog. I mean, I heard one song on a compilation album, which was, it was interesting. Not really my cup of tea. It has a lot of drum machine stuff in it, but it also has Eugene Chadbourne's keyboardist, and I think his name was Kramer, and a bunch of weirdos who they went crazy their weirdo thing, and it's a little bit like the second Skeleton Crew album. If you know Fred Frith and Tom Cora and Zena Perkins' Skeleton Crew album from 1982, I think. But if you search for Fred Frith, you probably know all this stuff already, but maybe not. Anyways, this is just volume 1. I only got volume 1 because I didn't know what I was getting. You buy things on the internet, and they call it a beefy book, and it's like, what is it, 30 pages? It's not really beefy. It's beefy for, it's neat. It's got pictures. There's Fred Frith and Ferdinand Richard, I think. $60. I don't know. Maybe it's this part of Fred Frith's retirement plan. Yeah, that's my clock going off. I don't have birds. Anyways, I've always enjoyed Fred Frith, even though some of his music is like, never mind. Like, I don't like the second Skeleton Crew album. The first Skeleton Crew album with just Tom Cora. That's one of his greatest, both experimental music, and it's not in this set, so maybe it's in the next one. I don't know. I haven't really looked at the promotion of these items is not very good, and that's probably why there's not very many reviews of this. Anyways, this is a stab at a review. Maybe this will be my review, or maybe I'll get better lighting set up. This is the first time I've attempted a YouTube video, so we'll see. Maybe I should just keep it like this. It has a certain look to it. It's the day after Thanksgiving. They call it Black Friday, so maybe I'll just upload this and it'll promote this product, because it's a great product, even though Fred Frith is a commie. But we all have our eccentricities.